you're going to get evidence that is going to tell you how long she was face down in the water. Because we know the injury that occurred. You've got a lack of oxygen to the brain. We know how long it takes medically for that to occur in a 6-year-old child of her height and weight. It comes from the medical experts. So who am I talking about? Not an expert we retained to look at this case. An expert they retained to look at this case. A medical expert hired by the plaintiff attorneys will testify she was not under the water for 1 minute. She was not under the water for 10 seconds to 50 seconds. This expert is going to testify, their expert, that Journey Hudson was face down in that water for at least, those are his words, not mine, at least 2 to 4 minutes. A little blurry, isn't it? Where's my eyes? How do I? Thanks, Ralph. This is the opinion and the sworn testimony of their medical expert. His name is Dr. Fernando Miranda. How do I know that's his opinion? I took his deposition. His deposition was on February 22nd, and then on March 23. And on March 23, I asked him questions about this, and this was his testimony. Dr. Miranda will also explain that you don't get an anoxic. Anoxic means lack of oxygen. You don't get an anoxic brain injury for being under the water under a minute or a minute. You need to be without oxygen much longer for that brain to get damaged to the extent Journey's brain got damaged under that water. Their own expert will testify, and the evidence will show based on his testimony that plaintiff's mom was looking away, was not paying attention to Journey, who was alone in that spa for between at least 2 to 4 minutes. And he said, I asked him why, how do you know that? You weren't there. He says, because when they pull her out of that jacuzzi, she's not breathing. In essence, she is dead. That's how bad this was and how much water was in her and how long she had been under the water. And she said people described when they performed CPR, resuscitating her, a lot of water came out of her mouth from her lungs. And he put all that evidence together. He explained to me what his opinions were and what he based that on. And I asked him, if someone were to say in this case that Journey was under the water for 10 to 50 seconds, would you disagree? And his response to me was, absolutely. Absolutely. Again, it's their expert.